Out of the many posters I've tried to put on my wall, only 2 of them have stuck so far. One is the Spider-Man 3 poster I put on my door, and the other one is a Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild poster. This is the biggest one I've ever had, and I can't quite remember why I bought it. Lately though, I've been staring at it, thinking about the game. To say that Breath of the Wild changed the video game industry is maybe a bit of a stretch, but it's hard to deny that this game had a huge impact on Nintendo and the gaming industry at the time when it launched back in 2017. If you own a Nintendo Switch, or if your Wii U isn't dead yet, chances are you have this game already. The renowned praise has reached millions of people, and it has since become a household name for video game fans both new and old. This far from a release of a video game, usually the industry moves on to the next big thing, but despite recent releases like The Last of Us Part 2, Metroid Dread, Halo Infinite, and the all-powerful, almighty, all-knowing Elden Ring, somehow Breath of the Wild has still remained in the zeitgeist. I wanted to take a second to examine why this game is still holding strong. Why, 5 years after its release, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild will never die. Unlike its predecessors Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, or God forbid, there's no big introductory cutscene explaining the history of the world of Hyrule, Link's home village, or any music really. The game starts with Link waking up from a deep slumber, you get your Switch or Wii U Dream Coaster, walk out, cue awesome cinematic, it's shown an old man sitting near a campfire with a weird destroyed temple in the background, and that's pretty much it. This game doesn't really hold your hand through anything beyond the Great Plateau. You're only really given one objective once you get to Hyrule proper: destroy Ganon. And then eventually Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
I'm cute as hell.
The big thing about this game compared to other Zelda games is how much of Hyrule is explorable. Just to compare, this is the map from Twilight Princess, and this is the map of Breath of the Wild. With an open world that's about as big as Manhattan, you would expect traversing the map to get boring quickly. To mitigate this, the developers gave you tools, or in this case runes, at the beginning of the game that can directly impact the environment as you traverse through it. As director Hidemaru Fujibayashi says, you progress through the world, see interesting terrain and other elements, create hypotheses and expectations about the things you see, and experiment. You try something and you get the reaction you were envisioning. After repeating this for a time, the player grows. That's the cycle. That sort of experience is the real pleasure, the essence of Zelda, and from the beginning, we really just wanted to create a game where that could be savored again and again. Bombs can reveal hidden caves or alternate routes, magnesis can be either used to pick up heavy objects and drop them, or a flying car, holy shit! Stasis can be used to stop objects in place, or as a launch pad, creating platforms with cryonis for you to jump on, or to catch objects that are falling. Or in the DLC, you get a freaking motorcycle! How you use the tools you are given in order to get from point A to point B is entirely your experience, which feeds into this gameplay loop. The hands-off approach to how you complete an objective keeps Breath of the Wild from getting redundant, keeping the experience fresh. This freedom given to the player goes beyond the gameplay, however. It also applies to the way the player unravels the actual story going on behind it. On the surface, it's a fairly bog-standard hero who has to save the princess by killing the bad guy Adventure, harkening back to the earlier Zelda games where not much was really happening in terms of theme, plot, or character. Should you choose to follow the advice of King Rome and head to Kakariko Village, you'll meet with Impa, then Pyrrha, and then get introduced to the Captured Memories mission. The idea is that Link has amnesia from 100 years ago, and these pictures, should Link find the spot where they were taken, will be able to recollect fragments of his memory. The 16 scattered memories can be unlocked in any order at any time you want, in conjunction with the ones you unlock from controlling the Divine Beast. You could try and get all the memories in order, or you could get them at random. Either way, you're playing detective as you piece together exactly what happened 100 years ago that led to this post-calamity world you're tasked with saving. What makes this work is a couple of things. First, that you already know the outcome of everything. Hyrule is full of ruins, vast grasslands, destroyed farms, and plenty of other stuff that convey a post-apocalyptic world. It's gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but it also feels oppressively quiet and hollow. The people you meet might have gotten used to it, but the remnants of what happened before still remain. The game doesn't beat down a plot of how everything went down, just the fact alone that all of this is optional in the first place says a lot. This freedom from writing an ending tying everything together lets the story focus on the characters. Speaking of characters, let's talk about the central character, the point of view we see the most: Zelda. Princess Zelda throughout the story struggles between her wants and her needs. She wants to keep studying the world of Hyrule and the mysterious advanced Sheikah technology, but she also has to be able to harness the powers of the goddess she's destined to have in order to defeat a looming threat that threatens to destroy the world. The emotional core of the story rests entirely on Zelda's character, and as you journey along with her and learn more about her past, her expectations, and her emotions, you start to connect with her inner conflict. I'm pretty sure all of us at some point in our lives struggled with having to decide between what you want to be and what others expect you to be, versus what happens regardless of your wants or needs. This is a timeless theme, and how effective this game executes that is what makes this game timeless. Sure, this game has a tragic background behind it, but it's still a video game after all, so it has to be fun. However, the developers took this one step further, giving Breath of the Wild the most video game stuff a video game can have. Let's just go through the list of video game stuff in this game. The versatile amount of weapons Link can use in this game, ranging from a mop, a sword, a broadsword, a spear, a skeleton's own arm, is peak video game combat. On top of melee attacks, the bullet time effect when you're using a bow and arrow not only looks cool, but also messes with the loss of physics in the game, which can lead to some hilarious antics when used in certain situations. Hey, guess what? You can virtually climb anywhere. I mean, barring the obvious smooth walls, if you can see a point somewhere off in the distance, you can reach it. And if you want to go even faster, there's also a ton of tricks and glitches you can do when messing with the physics systems. Did I forget to mention the flying car? Side quests in the game can vary from solving the mystery of a hidden cave to helping construct an entire town, to participating in races or challenges, and collecting bugs. The content you can extract from this game can last a lifetime, from the beaches to the shrines. This Zelda game makes sure that no matter where you are, the amount of things you can do is not only plentiful, but fun. Beyond the entertainment value, it's a nice reminder that despite the doom and gloom of the past, humanity can find a way to move past it and have fun. It makes saving the world of Hyrule at the end all the more sweeter. By helping the people of Hyrule across the map, you get a better understanding of who and what you're fighting for. I guess you're something of a hero of Hyrule. Looking back, it's amazing how a game like Breath of the Wild has remained prevalent years after its release, on an inferior hardware no less, but I guess that's the strength of video games. It doesn't really matter what kind of game it is or what console it's released on, some games can stand the test of time. With a community that constantly finds ways to keep Breath of the Wild alive and fresh through mods, challenges, speedruns, or just wacky stuff, you can get to Breath of the Wild at any time without feeling like you're missing much. If you have a Switch or a Wii U, I cannot recommend this game enough. It truly is a masterpiece that stands the test of time. At least until the sequel comes out. That one's gonna kick ass.